We are the time. We are the famous. By Jorge Luis Borges. We are the time. We are the famous. We are the time. We are the famous. Metaphor from Heraclitus the Obscure. So we are the water, not the diamond. The one that is lost, not the one that stands still. We are the river, and we are that Greek that looks himself into the river. His reflection changes into the waters of the changing mirror, into the crystal that changes like fire. We are the vain, predetermined river in his travel to his sea. The shadows have surrounded him. Everything said goodbye to us. Everything goes away. Memory does not stamp his own coin. However, there is something that stays. However, there is something that bemoans. All right, so let's look at this poem, okay? Well, right off the bat, we're going to look right up here and we're going to say, okay, so today's the day, time to leave a mark and be noticed, since it's our time and only one of us. So kind of like seize the day, right? And look at this right here at the beginning. We are the time. We are the famous, right? Who's the we, right? And then there's a metaphor there, right? Where he compares time and famous, right? Repetition of the we are the. Heraclitus the Obscure. What is this? He's an early Greek philosopher who maintained that strife and change are the natural conditions of the universe. He lived about 535, 475 BC, okay? Then look here. Oh, we are the water, right? Saying we are again. So now, we are the water is a metaphor, right? We are the water. But then he says, we are the water, not the hard diamonds, right? So he's comparing water and diamonds. Okay. Also, the we are the, right? That's a thing in poetry, and we call it a refrain. So he repeats we are the at different intervals throughout the poem. Now look at this section here, okay? This whole little phrase here, we are the river and we are that Greek that looks himself into the river, right? His reflection changes into the waters of the changing mirror, into the crystal that changes like the fire, right? Might be referring to Greek myth, right? Famous quote from Heraclitus, you can never step twice into the same river. That looks himself, is he talking about seeing his own age in the water? Maybe, right? Here's another metaphor, right? What's the metaphor? Crystal and fire. Look at this. Predetermined. What does predetermined mean? May mean it is what? Always destined, right? Maybe it's always supposed to happen. Maybe that's what he's talking about. Age is always going to happen. Age is always going to be there. Now look at this here. He changes. And remember we talked about those shifts, right? So here's where his shift is. He changes from the we and him to the he and us, right? All of a sudden there's a difference. And even though it's a semantic difference, it is important. So who is he? Who are us? Is he staring, starting to forget? Is he dying? Is he leaving? Is he going away? The shadows is important, right? But look down here where he says memory. All of a sudden, it's memory does not stamp his own coin. What does that mean? Memory does not stamp his own coin. What? That means you can't put your face on a coin. Your memory can't go on a coin. He can't remember anything, always. Right? Then, however, repeats. So it suggests even though. So even though he's saying you can't put his face on a coin, whatever, right? He's saying, however, even though there is something that stays, there is something that bemoans, something bemoans, right? What does bemoan mean? Means worry about, means be thoughtful of after it's gone, right? But he's famous, right? There's grief. That's what that bemoans me, right? Some people are going to miss him because he's the hero. He's he's the survivor, the memory. So what's the function of this poem? Is it destined or destiny? Maybe he's asking us a question, right? Who's the narrator? The person, soul, telling the story, right? Telling what happens, what he sees, right? And then what's the last thing? Let's talk about what poetic devices we found. So we found metaphors, refrain, right? We found symbolism. We found theme. We found tone and mood, right? Those are all there. See, we touched on each one of those. And then what's the theme or the message, overall message, right? Even when they, he, we, whatever are gone, right? Time will still remember us. Because we're famous, right? We are unique. Fame makes you legendary. Famous makes you, even though time goes by, fame makes you something.